Hi, welcome back to Miranda's Cauldron. I'm Miranda, also Rita at Other People's Prints. You may call me either one. I write young adult, urban, paranormal, fantasy with witches and elementals. Speaking of elementals, look what I got. I'm so excited. I got one for me. I need to play around with the formatting still because for some bizarre reason, I have spaces between the paragraphs. And it did not show that on my Word doc that I uploaded into KDP. So I'm not sure what it is. I did some things a little different in it. Of course, I have my blank pages. Thanks to Mama Maggie. She suggested it. Actually, she has a beautiful video that I use to walk me through how to get this. And I've had a lot of comments about that people like the cover. It's kind of simple. It's not the one that I'm using for real, but my main character in this series, especially this book, is Salem, and her power or her affinity is fire. So it's quite suiting that it's flames. And the tagline, darkness is creeping into the elemental energies, the essence of Camp Lear. And Camp Lear is the camp that the elementals live at least most of them. So I was pretty excited about that. And just because I'm super excited about getting it yesterday. It only took me 2 weeks by the time I ordered it, by the time I got here, which is pretty fabulous because it takes about 2 weeks for me just to get anything I ordered from Amazon. Born after the shift, Salem and her older brother enjoyed life with their parents in El Dorado Forest. Surrounded by other elemental children and families, she didn't have a care in the world until strangers in uniforms took her brother. It changed how she saw everything. After years of mistrust, of distress, and bullying at a government-mandated compound, Salem snaps and uses her elemental powers to form a protective fire circle. Before facing the consequences of her actions, the secretive quad of shadows whisks her away to Camp Lear. Cloaked in magic and surrounded by forests and streams, the camp protects the elemental children from intruders. Here, they can be themselves. Unfortunately, after Salem's arrival, unexplained accidents endanger the residents of Camp Lear. Salem's newfound happiness is jeopardized as elements revolt. The camp's residents discover the statue. Faye of Mistral has a crack in its stone wing and is weeping. Every totem of protection is corrupted. Simply wielding the elements could lead to dire consequences. Salem, her new friends, and their mentors must find what is damaging the essence of elements while keeping everyone safe. Otherwise, the elements may continue to attack those blessed with their essence. Will all elementals lose their gifts? Worse, will Salem's old fears come true? Will everyone turn on her? Follow Salem as she finds, accepts friendships, first love, and even betrayal while navigating life at Camp Lear in this debut novel, the first in the Essence of Elements, a coming-of-age series from author Miranda Page. That's me! And I already have book 2 written, which I'm calling Nexus. And hopefully I will have that book in my hands next year. And I even got 2. This is for my dad. Because here we go. About the author. I'm Miranda Page and an indie writer. I began writing as a teen in small town Ontario, Canada, where I spent days exploring and writing in the woods, railroad tracks, bridges, and streams. I've been living in Western Canada since 2002 with my husband and 2 children. Both of my children are grown and living lives of their own. And they even have babies. I write and enjoy reading young adult, urban fantasy, and paranormal with elemental magic. When I'm not writing and rewriting, I spend hours reading, watching television, and spending time with family and pets. I have quite a collection of cats and a dog. I'm drawn to tarot cards, oracle cards, runes, rocks, and crystals, and the moon and the forest. My blaze for writing was merely an ember, and now it's once again a blaze, and I'm busy writing and revising a few stories for the world. Thank you for coming along on my writing adventure, a dream I've had since I was a teen and wrote my first book. Yes, this was a slasher. And my acknowledgments. Thank you for reading Lear, the first book of the Essence of Elements series. What will Salem and her friends be up to in the next book? Nexus. Special thank you to my family, especially my parents and sisters, those of blood and the family my son has chosen for us. Thank you to my children as well as my husband in their own ways of supporting my dream. Thank you to my bonus daughter for designing my cover as well as drawing my maps for the series. Not this map. Not this. I did this. Her cover is amazing. Shout out to the Heart Breathings writing community and my online community writers. Thank you to my critique partners, beta readers, and all of those who have supported me over the years. Yes, I finally wrote, revised, and finished my book. I'm ready to share my characters and their world with the real world. So excited. Okay, so we'll do the cards during our next break. But in the meantime, let's just start this sprint and see what happens. I, for one, have to catch up with my HB90 and mid-task blocks, summaries, that sort of stuff. And I'm going to do some journaling with my tarot cards that I've drawn. Kind of been putting that off. So that's what I'm going to do for the first couple of sprints. So I will bring up the kitty timer. And I will see you in 20 minutes. And welcome back. I'm just getting my pen sorted out so I can do my notes from my mastermind group. Got all my journaling done. I decided I really didn't need to do the heart HB90 task blocks from this week because I did that yesterday. And so I'll just finish today's and tomorrow's up for tomorrow on Sunday sprint, Monday sprints, which I still have to do the thumbnail for that, but I am sprinting on Monday next week let me just double check the time, at 1 Eastern, because Kay is sprinting for a few hours in the morning, and I can actually go to her sprints now because it's a little bit later. I'm sprinting on Monday, not tomorrow. On Monday. Usually do Saturdays and Mondays. So yeah. So just in case you didn't know, I got my proof copy for Witches of Solace. Not Witches of Solace. Lear, book 1 of Essence of Elements. So I'm pretty excited about that. I got 2 copies, one for my dad. Yeah, I normally do my planning on Mondays, so it gives me kind of incentive to actual stream on Monday if there's one available, because I just fill in the time blocks from when no one's sprinting with the Heart Breathing's writing community. And so yeah, and I just realized that I am going to do a Cats Against Humanity card. It's been a while since I've drawn these little cards. So let's just see what the Cats Against Humanity. And I start my weeks on Monday, so it's easier for me to do that. Then I can finish everything I need to do for the first block. Because on Sunday, I'm still doing Sunday. Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, so let's just search the cards and see which one I'm going to get. Trying your best is all that matters. True, true, true. And on the back of these cards, there's a little things that you can do to do. A lot of it ties in with what the cat says at the beginning. Power of touch. Slow your mind down. I need to slow my mind. Close your eyes and feel your way to peace. Trace the path around the thumb and your fingers. Breathe in and out as you move up and down your fingers. Nice little meditative. Yeah. And I can't even say it's because I'm tired, because I've been up since 8 o'clock my time. I caught some of Mel's sprint, but then I got watching TV because hubby went to work. So yeah. Anyhow, we have a little over a minute left. I will draw a runes card next break. So this time around, I'm going to be writing out my notes from my mastermind group. If you took part in Sarah Cannon's Publish and Thrive course, when it's available again, I highly suggest signing up for the mastermind. If you're lucky enough, you'll get some really awesome fellow writers as friends. So, yeah. Today, we are getting together for a combined birthday party with family. My son's birthday is next week. And his wife's birthday, yes, she's a little older than him, but only about 10 days. So that really doesn't count, does it? It's not like it's years apart. It's just like 10 days, 9 days. So we're getting together this afternoon so I can spend more time with my grandbaby, which is nice because I don't get to see her very often. So that was the kitty timer. I'm going to change the time to the 25 minutes. I'm kind of digging these staircase steps into writing. So then the next one will be 30. So see you in 25. Oops, I need to set the time. Then I can start it. See you in 25. that was the end of our second sprint together. How did everybody do? I ended up, of course, finally realizing that I had not fed the cats yet. So I went and fed the cats. And of course, I took my trash bin downstairs. Then I needed to replace the bag of water bottles and cans and juice bottles and that kind. We don't really do recycling as much in this community because they don't have pickup. But we do take our bottles and drinking bottles and milk jugs and that because you pay for them the extra like 5 cents, and then when you return them, you get that reimbursed. That's one good thing about living in cities and towns. You can do that kind of thing. They just come to your house to pick it up. So that was fabulous. Angela was working on her note cards, I'm assuming for her series. I love my note cards. I actually, when I got my copy of my book, and my sister asked me how much it cost me. And I said $5. And she said, "That's it?" I said, "Yeah, it's less than what you would go to a bookstore and buy your book. Buy a book." So I got new index cards with more my own colors that I didn't have a purple. And it's really light purple. It's almost like white, but just a shade of purple. So I still need to find a better shade of purple because I color code my characters. And not just with index cards, even pens. So my girls are pink. And let's see if I have one. Purple. Yeah, I'm a girly girl. And then my boys are a light blue and a green. But my index cards are more like light green. So the shades are not quite the same. But I like the it's almost like a lime color shade. Okay, I have all the headings on the chapter cards. We'll hopefully get scene cards label next. Ooh, I do not necessarily chapter cards with scene cards. I do more outline on these type of notepads. Just a very brief outline, like a couple of sentences here and there, what I want to get done. Not even sentences, more like bullet points. And then I use my colored index cards for chapter summaries. Like here is for Witches of Solace, which I'm working on now with my mastermind partners. That chapter 1 is in Kaylee's point of view, and that's the color that I had to use. It's not purple. It's like one of those neon pinks, but that's the color I picked. But then I got a better purple, but I still have to find a different shade of purple because to me that looks more white. So each of my main characters, point of view characters, have their own color. We have to take ours into the recycling center. We just do it when we're going in to pay bills or need to go to town. Yeah, my husband doesn't. It's horrible. My husband doesn't agree with recycling because he thinks it just goes to the dump anyway. So, and when he drives, and he'd be taking care of it. So, yeah. Here in the States, I got mine at the Dollar Tree. I have Dollar Tree. We have Dollar Trees here, actually called the Dollar Tree and the Dollarama, but they don't have purple ones. They just have the basic blue, a shade of yellow, pink, and like an orange kind of thing. The index cards come in blue, pink, yellow, and teal. We don't even get teal up here. I can get Post-it notes and legal pads to match. Ooh, nice. Nice. Oh, a video done soon. Have you thought about going for a ream of darker purple, then cut it? I might do that, but then I don't have the lines. So I don't know if I'll do that or not. We'll have to see. But I do know I end up getting more of different color in the post-it notes of various sizes, so that might help. We'll see. But in the meantime, the kitty cat meow. I'm just going to keep it the rest of them for 25 minutes. Because I think when I'm writing like this, I'm going to need more of a break. Sure, it's only 5 minutes difference. Maybe I'll do a 30-minute time sprint next time. You never know with Miranda. I might just change it up. I've even known to once in a while do 45 minutes or 40 minutes. And I'm not a fan of 40 minutes, but sometimes you just need a little bit more time to get your things done. So I'm just going to, what the heck? I'm going to change the timer back to, I'm going to change it to 30 because I like the 30 minutes. And I'm just going to leave it to 30. And that way we get the steps in. And then probably my last sprint will go down to 20 just to as a cool down. So see you in 30 minutes. Oh, and how about you chat down what if you're listening to any music? I am listening to my Nordic myths sounds. I usually listen to the Vikings or the Nordic or Celtic when I'm trying to get things done. See you in 30. And we're done. I actually got maybe 4 pages written, 3 pages written of the notes. It takes a very long to rewrite them. And when I'm rewriting it, part of me is like, why did I just write them in my good notebook to begin with? But no, I write it in pencil, really sloppy, in a different notebook. We keep track of things like what we did during our meeting, which we meet usually once a week for about 2 hours. And we share the goals that we wanted to get done for that week and what we actually got accomplished. So it's very nice. It's almost like a personal writing journal as well. So that's very helpful. Okay, Angela is giving us an update. Thanks. And for another thumbs up. I have up to chapter 11 of the chapter / scene cards in their sleeves. So rewriting these note cards is going to be a task, but I'll have a better idea of where I'm going as I try to finish the book. Yeah. I don't know how anybody can pants their book. I tried that once. I actually have one book that's about, I want to say about 25,000 words in. And I had no outlining whatsoever. And I think that's why I kind of ran out of ideas or went a different way, or I'm not really sure what happened. But those characters for the beginning, they were all on their own, and they were more like college kids, not my young adults. So they weren't my average 16, 17-year-old characters. They were like 20, 21. But hopefully I will go back to that book eventually and finish it. But I also have another book, Maple River, that I'm not done drafting. I am further off. And that one's pretty interesting for me because it's based in Canada. And my other 2 stories are both based in the setting is the US. The Witches of Soul is around the Boston-Salem area. And then my Lear Essence of Element series, it's California. And that one's set in the future, while Witches of Soul is set in 1984. So it's kind of different. And even the Maple River one, it's more set in like the early 90s, early to mid 90s in my hometown. That's the map I've used. So I thought it was kind of fun. Angela says, I'm more of a cross between a pantser and an outline. I know what happens in each chapter from each character's point of view. From there, I free write. That's kind of what I do. Like, I just have a very brief outline. I just kind of like 3 or 4 ideas. And I don't, usually when I start it, I only write up the outline for the first 10 chapters. Because quite often in those first 10, heck, even the first 5 chapters sometimes, it just goes on a totally different way. So it's always fun to see how it develops and changes over each pass through. And when I write my stories, it's always in a notebook, always in pencil. Then I type it up. And when I type it up, when the chapter's finished, it's like my first set of revisions because I always change things and add things and make it better. So you have 30 seconds left. We'll probably have another this sprint, and then one more sprint. And then I think I'm going to need a break because I'm getting tired. So I'm thinking this one might be my last sprint that I'll be writing up notes. And then my last sprint, I might do a little different. I do have a few chapters to read for my critique partner, so I might do that. So we'll see. But yeah, or I might just go back into revising my next chapter that I need to revise, which is the Solus. So in the meantime, keep up the good work. I need to go find food. Then I have 40 of ham to package up. Ooh, I'm thinking 40 pounds. Best of luck. Great sitting with you. Creative blessings. Creative blessings right back at you. And I am sprinting on Monday. So just keep an eye for my thumbnail. And I'll see you guys all in 30 minutes.
And that was the end of that sprint. That was the end of the fourth sprint. I thought I needed a break of this writing up the minutes kind of thing, my notes from my writing groups, goals and presentations and spotlights and what we talked about. And so I took a little bit of a break during that. I went downstairs and grabbed a snack, brought some chips up with me, had some olives. So at least olives was healthy. Right now for the thing that we talked about in this meeting back end of October was the pacing and beats for my story, which is a solace. For someone who didn't follow any of the beats at all while writing books 1 and 2 of 2 different series, I'm hitting the beats pretty good. Even though some parts was a little overwhelming, but looking it out on paper and it's coming along pretty nicely. I do have to end up writing, I think I figured out from 39 chapters, which I've already written for book 1. I think I have to add maybe 3 more chapters because there wasn't enough of the dark part of the soul and the bad guys weren't in as much. I don't want to show the actual bad guys until the end of the book 1, but there's some familiars and there's some shadowy creatures that come for visits, and the dreams can be pretty intense. So I'm adding a couple of other chapters for whatever, and the stakes aren't really that high as they should be. So I've decided that Kaylee, my main character, she is going to tell her dad that she is a witch, and she's not supposed to. And one of the reasons why her mom raised her as just normal humans, not witches and not with the coven, was to keep her safe. And her father couldn't know about it. And I'm not sure if it's going to be kind of like that evening. I'm kind of thinking the evening that she tells him that she's a witch, that he's going to be attacked. I am not a fan of killing off the parents in my series. They may just not live with them. They go away. But in this case, Kaylee's mom is a mentor to her. So, of course, the dad's not going to die. But he's going to attack. And warning, if anyone saw the movie Birds with Alfred Hitchcock back in the, 70s, it's going to be kind of like that, which is, it's going to be interesting for me to write because of that movie, I have a fear of flocks of birds, especially black ones. And the birds that are going to attack the dad are actually ravens, and there's going to be at least a half a dozen of them. So not a lot compared to the birds. So that's going to be interesting to write. I haven't even looked at the beats for
Lear. So that's, I guess, I'm going to do next when I'm done with Witches of Solace. So this is the runes, the Witches Familiar. And this is the Burkina, and it's a rabbit. Actually, a hare to be precise. So let's see what that rune means, especially with this book. I do believe that rune is also the rebirth. And look at that. I opened up the book and there it is. It's also birth, sanctuary, futility, life change, and secrets. It holds within it the mature female wisdom of our mothers and our grandmothers. Speaks of female fertility and also the safety and shielded sanctuary of the womb. When this rune appears in a reading, there may be a birth of a child, an idea, or even a new goal. Well, I know that neither one of my girls are expecting. My daughter just had her baby isn't even 6 months old. And my older granddaughter is about a year and a half. And neither one of them are in any hurry. So maybe it is a new idea. I am focused on more Witches of Solace now, trying to get that all final revisions, then rewrites, and it's been so helpful with my critique partners with all their insight and great ideas. I had a problem with one of the main characters. I wasn't really sure what his goal is in the coven. But then we got to talking, and it's like he doesn't really need to understand it. So I am going to give him the gift of being able to see auras around certain people that are connected to the coven, just different colors, because in my book for Witches of Solace, colors are important. Okay, so I am going to start the next sprint. There are a few people, the little eyes show me there's 4 of you lurking. So I am going to bring up the next sprint for 30 minutes because I'm pretty sure 30 minutes is going to get me to the finishing line on these notes. And then I will take a little bit of a break. And if there's time before my husband comes back from helping friends, that we'll probably be heading over to family time for this evening for pizza and a birthday cake. Last birthday cake, my little granddaughter, it's a cake. It was for her birthday. We ended up getting her a ice cream cake. Apparently, that was the first time she had ice cream. Here, we thought she had already had one. But anyhow, but this time, this cake will be for her mommy and daddy. Okay, so I am going to bring up the kitty timer, and I'm going to stop saying the word K. Stop, and see you in 30, and this will be our last sprint together for today. But I will be back on Monday. And that is the end of our time together. Esther popped in. Follow her. She does sprints, I believe, Friday evenings for sure, and a few other times. But in the meantime, I'm going to stop sharing because I don't need to share my Katie timer anymore. Well, thank you so much for keeping me company while I write up these notes, and I did a few other things. I am so ready for a proper lunch, so I'll probably have a sandwich. And I kind of feel like having soup. I might have soup. Yeah, I think I will do that. And who knows what I'll do after that. I know for sure I'll be watching a TV show to unwind from doing all this for the last 3 hours. It's a good sprint. And thank you again for popping in. And hi to those who watch it on the replay. How about you put a comment down what you've been working on? I will see you guys later. I don't believe anyone else is. I don't think anyone's sprinting with the Heart Breathing's writing community since Tracy, the revised writer, is taking some time off. So I won't be. I don't think I write with anyone else Saturday afternoons. Maybe I need to find someone, another person who is sprinting later in the afternoon. For tomorrow, Power Play Press is first thing in the morning. And Rachel, I believe, is now sprinting in the afternoons on Sunday. And if you like some writerly advice, check out Sam Wicker, author Sam Wicker, or writer Sam Wicker. I think it's if you just write up, search Sam Wicker, you'll find it. For Breaking the Block on Sunday mornings. And I will see you guys all later. And I'll see you for sure Monday around noon. Sorry, I think it's 1 Eastern, noon my time, Central Time. And in the meantime, don't forget, keep writing and never give up on your dreams. Because even if you had a childhood dream like me that I wanted to write a book and hold the book in my hands, I finally did. I want to say 30 to 40 years later, my dream came true. Don't worry, it did not take me 30 years to write this. It only took me about 4. Bye for now. See you next time at Miranda's Cauldron.